Welcome to the Guide to Wellness podcast, your source for practical insights and tools bridging the wisdom of traditional Chinese medicine with the advancements of modern functional medicine, empowering you to live a life of wellness. We are dedicated to promoting a healthier world by providing tools, knowledge, and simple things you can do every day. So if you're ready to adopt new health habits and do things differently, listen and learn here. Welcome, everyone. I'm Susanna Freeman, licensed acupuncturist, clinic director of Great Turning Healing Center, and Guide to Wellness, where we blend traditional Chinese medicine and modern functional medicine. And today is the day I've been looking forward to for a long time. We get to chat about the vagus nerve and how we can use awareness in the body to create the state we want: joy, focus, calm, or ease. What a powerful idea this is, that we can use breath and awareness to improve our well-being. We have Marianne Amsden here to share her skills with us. She's a licensed mental health counselor and somatic experiencing practitioner in private practice in Bozeman. Marianne's passionate about helping people understand and work with their own nervous systems and bodies as they work to integrate life's challenges. Hey Marianne, it's nice to have you here. What are we talking about today? It's how to use breath, vibration, awareness in the body, and physical sensation to regulate the vagus nerve and our body signals. We'll use somatic experiencing tools. These are created by Dr. Peter Levine, and we'll have a guided session using the sound VOO. And I love this sound, and I love to hear more about it. This episode is going to build on the breath podcast that I recorded with Jack Schwemm in November of 2023, so please listen back to this, the November 2023 episode on the Guide to Wellness podcast. Marianne, let's jump in, and before we go too far, why VOO?
What a great question, Susanna. Well, essentially, we're trying to help the body move from fixity or rigidity back to flow. The VOO, with the letter V, creates a vibration. You can just even play with that right now. If you put your teeth on your lips and you get this lovely vibration. Why vibration? Well, it helps shake things loose. Loosening leads to flow. Flow leads to health. Extending the sound into an oo helps us extend our exhale, which if you listen to the November podcast, you'll remember extending the exhale has a whole host of benefits.
Indeed it does. And I love that you brought that up. And we're going to be talking a lot more, getting into the weeds about the vagus nerve and the physical body, and then we're going to come back to a guided exercise. So what we want to know is, how can we use awareness in the body to shift our nervous system into more ease? How do we do that, Marianne?
Great question, Susanna. You're full of great questions. Well, I first want to share some important news. This was a real revelation to me. I think it's contrary to kind of popular belief. We are mostly bottom-up systems.
Bottom up?
Yeah. 80 to 90% of information is going from our bodies up into our brains. So if we're holding tensions in the body, we're creating this kind of feedback loop between the brain and the body. We're accidentally signaling the brain that we are in danger, which increases our sympathetic nervous system charge or activation. Things like anxiety, hypervigilance, etc. But there are so many wonderful tools we can use to interrupt that feedback loop. Feed different information back up into the brain, essentially letting it know that we're okay.
I can see you know a lot about this topic. I can't wait to hear more. What is the sympathetic nervous system?
If you think about energy up like the gas pedal in a car, you're just putting more fuel in the system, and that is designed to help us meet obstacles or threats or danger.
Like the proverbial being chased by the saber-toothed tiger, right?
Yeah, we need to run in that case.
In that case.
Yeah.
And it does apply to modern life as well. So let's hear more.
Yeah. So just here's a little bit about survival responses. We have essentially 4: fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. We share these with all animals. Our survival system makes the choice for us in the moment It chooses the response that it believes will ensure our survival.
Hmm.
And it doesn't care at all about what we think about the choice it made. It's only concerned with survival. All survival responses are valuable. And our nervous system chose correctly if we survived a threat.
That's a cool thought. So
Yeah.
we're not flawed after all?
No, we have this amazing system working on our behalf to ensure we survive. We can live another day.
Nice.
So a little bit more. Fight and flight are high sympathetic nervous system tone. Think energy up again, like a gas pedal. If our nervous system is perceiving danger, like it does in the animal kingdom, fight and flight uses up the threat response or the energy in the body, and animals go back to grazing. We don't have it so easy. Yeah.
What's fawn?
Fawn is also a little bit, it's like a softer sympathetic charge. It's not clear up to fight and flight. It's more the please and appease. Yeah. So animals have that too. We observe that in, you get some dogs together and how they interact together, right?
For sure.
And so it's a softer break with the sympathetic or the parasympathetic nervous system.
So you're still breaking the system. You're just doing it more softly than in the fight or flight response.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So this
What
is the
else?
social engagement system. This is where the call for help comes in. That's a really important survival response. It's calming the situation down. That's a really helpful survival response.
Yeah.
We want to stay with the pack. We're herd animals too.
I like this because we always hear about the fight or flight response, but you're giving us a lot more detail and showing us that we have more branches on the vagus nerve. We have more modes, if you will, in the nervous system, and we're using all of these all the time. And that fawn response is super important.
It really is.
Cool. Tell us more about freeze.
So freeze is a really high parasympathetic tone. So think of that like energy down, like a brake. It's like slamming on the
interrupt you
brakes.
for a second?
Yeah.
We haven't talked about the parasympathetic nervous system yet. Can you just briefly detour for that?
Yeah. Parasympathetic just brings energy back down in the body. It's really important for rest and digest. We can have pleasant, easy social engagement there. Pleasure, we feel calm and easy. But if it's a real hard break, as if the nervous system detects not just a threat, but life threat, we can go very deep into dorsal vagal freeze, which is a really important survival strategy. You can think of a possum playing dead. Freeze can have, there's always a sympathetic charge first. And then if the survival system determines that we won't survive the threat, it's too big by fighting or fleeing or calling for help, it shuts down.
Okay.
Really important. We can experience tension, like a rigid freeze, or we can have a complete collapse and go just limp, right? Until the threat passes.
It's still protective.
Oh, it's marvelously protective. It saves people's lives all the time.
And so we want to be in a more ordinary level of parasympathetic when we sleep, when we're digesting our food, when we're on the acupuncture table, when we're moving through a therapy session with you and you're doing a guided practice, right?
Yeah.
But then it can go too far into protection, or maybe not too far. It can go into protecting us.
And when I'm working with someone, we need a guide to get us through that state, that the body, in a way it happened too fast in the original incident. And we're helping slow it down and accompany the body and the nervous system through what can be a scary state, but it is designed to be time limited. And if we can accompany it and move through it, we come out on the other side feeling this amazing connection to life force energy.
Nice.
So that's important too.
Thanks for bringing us back out of the weeds and telling us why this is important. So I know that you wanted to chat about these survival impulses, how they can be inhibited, and they can lead to things like PTSD or anxiety. Tell us more about that, please.
In the animal kingdom, after an animal goes into freeze, when it wakes up, and you can see this if you've ever seen a bird fly into your window and it drops, and then sometimes it'll just shake and then hop up and fly away, right? That shaking is how the body uses up that sympathetic charge that got shut down.
Interesting. Yeah.
So that shaking is a really important piece that as humans we tend to inhibit, but it's actually really vital to completing the freeze.
So shake it off. That's a good thing.
Shaking is a good thing.
Good.
Right, don't try to control it. Let it, it's, the difference between involuntary and voluntary movement. We need to let the involuntary movement happen.
Nice.
So that's using up that charge.
Good reminder.
So depending on our life experiences, we may have a survival system favorite. This might also depend on our genetic inheritance, what our ancestors, what were successful survival responses for them. So in somatic experiencing, we can renegotiate old traumas, relieving excessive sympathetic or parasympathetic tone, and give the nervous system more choices about how to respond.
Cool. So we can resolve and repair old patterns. I love that. I'm all about it, actually. That's what you and I do all day with people.
Yeah.
I'm curious, I know this is something that you like to talk about, as do I. When we feel like butterflies in our stomach, or we have irritable bowel syndrome, or we have awareness in our body, and oftentimes it's the gut, it's our digestion that talks to us first. Sometimes it's higher up in the body, the chest, the heart rate. If we have gut symptoms, that's a sign of too much dorsal vagal tone, correct?
Yeah, it can depend. If there's this kind of tension or holding patterns, bracing in the viscera, we have trouble digesting.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yep.
And so it's really, we can actually help resolve that as well, because that dorsal vagal nerve goes all the way to the bottom of the pelvic bowl. And our enteric nervous system.
Ooh, now we're getting juicy here, folks.
Yeah.
What's the enteric nervous system? That has to do with the nervous system in your gut.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, we have over 600 million neurons in our viscera.
What?
Yeah, it's the equivalent to the size of a cat's brain, so it's really called the second brain. It can act independently of both the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems. And it receives information from both of those systems. So we need to be in an easy parasympathetic state for rest and digest. And that information is getting fed into the enteric nervous system, which obviously is impacting how we're digesting. So.
And then a plug for another conversation is the microbiome and the bacteria in the gut and how those feed into signaling with the vagus nerve.
Really, honestly, it should be called the first brain, because it's everything depends on our gut,
So come chat with us if you need help with your gut. You're talking about how do we use this in our daily lives?
Yeah. So we're really helping our bodies, which helps our nervous systems move from fixity back into flow to help the nervous system settle. So ideally, we can sense the body to notice when we're in a state of rigidity or tension or holding or bracing, right? And then that awareness can help us shift into more ease. Sometimes as we notice, it just spontaneous releases. Other times there are tools we can use to help the body release these tension patterns.
That sounds like really good news, Marianne. That there's actually something that we can do. And sometimes even when we can't sense the body, we can help it settle anyway, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
We can help tensions relax even when we can't sense them.
Today we promised you, we're going to use the VOO sound. And we're going to mention a few more down the road, and maybe we'll come back to that more detail in a future episode. Before we move forward, I just want to remind you guys that with any of these exercises, if they don't feel helpful, please stop and just do something you already know that is helpful for you. And if you're curious, find a somatic practitioner to work with, and we'll let you know how to do this at the end of the podcast.
Awesome,
And so,
Susan.
yeah, just a little reminder there that the whole purpose of this is to be comfortable and to know how to build your own safety and to be able to filter out things that don't serve you and to pull in the things that do. So that's a theme we keep coming back to in this podcast. It's super important. So you were talking about how you can take care of yourself even though you don't sense what's actually happening in the body.
Yeah.
So how do you intervene?
Well, we can just assume there are tensions in the torso.
Okay.
I mean, we're busy doing all day. Necessary, what I call anti-gravity efforting, right? To accomplish all the tasks. And that's great. We can just kind of forget, or the body can forget, when it's okay to let go of all that efforting and all that tension.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's lots of ways we can do that. We're going to be doing the VU. We're working with the vagus nerve, going all the way down to the pelvic floor.
Mm-hmm.
And we're essentially softening. We're helping soften. Lots of ways to do that. One is self-contact. Our hands are amazing with the amount of care and providing they do for others.
Mm-hmm.
We can actually receive that from our hands toward ourselves. So some gentle self-contact in an area of tension, just kind of offering support. Breathing in with the intention to support your physiology. How do we help the body loosen up?
I love it. Do you want to chat a little bit more about what if all I feel is in my head? I'm just pounding with stress or overwhelm.
Yeah, that's so common. I'm so glad you're bringing that up. And that's so true that sometimes we're just feeling that we're working so hard in the brain, trying to problem solve and, attending to details, and we might just feel very tense in the head. The body's doing this amazing thing. It's kind of protecting us by not allowing that tension down into the body. But actually, it needs a little more room. We have these amazing containers that know how to metabolize that energy. So a little bit of self-contact to the neck can help things soften or ease or give it another channel. We can do gentle neck rolls or shoulder rotations.
Okay.
We can spend some time softening the eyes. They work so hard.
Yeah.
Softening the tongue and the jaw.
I feel like I'm in yoga class. So even if you're driving, you can still be doing a little bit of paying attention as you listen to this to tension in your body. But obviously, if you're doing something that requires your focus, please maybe save this for later. But you can just practice a little bit, like moving your tongue around and moving your jaw around, softening your eyes, a little neck roll, straightening your spine. Anything else?
I think there's so much more we can talk about each one of these topics, so maybe that'll be something that we do more of in the future.
Cool. All right. You sound like you want to get down to business with the VU. So we're talked about self-contact. We've talked about using your hands, touching your arms, your chest, the back of your neck. We talked about slow, gentle, easy movement, shoulder rolls, right? Things like that. Things that are easy. Let's chat now about the VU session. And as you prepare, both now and later, we want to remind you just to be nice and comfortable. It's going to be a powerful tool, so we want you to be gentle with yourself. And like I said earlier, if it doesn't feel helpful, let it go. For now, do what is nourishing for your body and your psyche.
Wonderful. The intention here is to loosen tensions in the jaw and in the torso and all the way down to the pelvic bowl, since the vagus nerve goes all the way down.
That's really cool information.
Yeah. Most people cannot actually feel their viscera, and that's by design. It would just be too much information, overwhelming our brain. So we're just going to assume there's tensions there. That's modern life. And we're going to use vibration and sound to relax those tensions, promote digestion, and healthy parasympathetic tone. So I like to think of the VU as a foghorn. This was developed by Peter Levine. This is how he likes to explain it. If you've ever heard a foghorn, it's such a beautiful sound, and the purpose of it is to guide ships safely back to shore. And that's what we're doing for our own nervous system. we're bringing it back to calmer waters, a safe harbor. When we make this sound, you really want to use your voice. Imagine your jaw as a resonance chamber, not only your jaw, but all the way down to your pelvic floor, creating this resonance of vibration and sound. So give it some strength. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to do this 3 times through. We're going to have a nice, gentle, easy inhale and pause. And then on the exhale, we're going to make this sound.
And I'll do it so you can all do it with me.
Yeah, and I might talk a little bit here and there while Suzanne is doing it, just kind of coaching you through it. But we're going to stay with the VOO sound until we're completely exhaled. Our lungs are empty. We're going to pause and then let the body breathe in. So the pacing for everybody will be a little bit different. That's okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
It's the moment we've all been waiting
Yeah.
for.
Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to talk me through it.
Yep. So a nice, easy, full inhale and pause, and then make the sound. Good. Keep it going till you're out of air. Lovely. When you're out of air, just pause. Let your body breathe in whenever it's ready. Nice, nice, full inhale. Pause. Yeah, great. Keep it going till you're out of air. Pause. Good. When your body's ready, that's right. Let it breathe in, nice and full. Yeah. Yeah. And if you want to, you can play with your jaw, letting it open into more of an ah sound. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, great. Yeah. Now, when you're ready, let your body breathe in and just return to normal breathing. And the important part now is to just sense in your body what feels different. Yeah.
I love that. I feel it was a little funny doing that into a microphone, I've got to say. Hopefully you're all doing it with me. And now my mind, my brain feels lighter.
Lovely.
I feel like my eyes, my vision's a little bit better. I do feel more relaxed. I do use this tool on my own, and I do enjoy it. I know that sometimes you can feel like warmth or coolness or tingling. I'm just finding my breath is a little easier. Maybe my voice sounds different to you. But main thing, my head feels lighter. But I'm wondering, what if I'm feeling some discomfort somewhere?
Yeah, that's really not uncommon. Many people may experience some discomfort in the beginning. That could be a sign that there is a lot of tension being held down there. That would be normal if we've never done this before. And as that is kind of getting vibrated and breathed into and shaken a little bit loose, you might experience some kind of quivering in the body, a felt sense of trembling. And this is actually really good news. Like, let that happen.
Nice.
This is what happens on the other side of that freeze that we were talking about that the animals do, shaking it out.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're releasing that tension, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And as you release that tension, then your body, the signaling, because remember we're bottomed up, right? Then the signaling from the gut and viscera can then regulate that vagus nerve and help you move into a sense of ease with a little more capacity.
Yeah. So
Nice.
often on the other side of letting go of some fixity is a little bit of sympathetic charge, right?
Yep.
That's how it got there in the first place.
Right?
And it's like, welcome, sympathetic charge. Move through, let your body metabolize it.
Yeah.
And just notice how sensations are going to be shifting through time. We're just not interrupting, not interfering with it. We're trusting the body to let it metabolize and move out.
That.
Yeah.
And one of the things I like to remind people is that we are creatures designed to have both systems, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, and it's a lot more complicated, but we're simplifying here. And We don't want to just be limp and loosen and parasympathetic all the time. We want that sympathetic response. We enjoy it. You and I are both skiers, I know, and mountain bikers, and we want that sympathetic.
Absolutely.
Right? And then you also, like the yin and the yang in Chinese medicine, one plays into the other. When one gets too high, too charged, then it shifts into the other.
Yeah.
In Chinese medicine, you could say the parasympathetic is the yin and the sympathetic nervous system is the yang. I am oversimplifying, but we can use that analogy a little bit.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought up, the pleasure of skiing and sympathetic nervous system activity. It really is our life force energy, our vitality, and how lovely to connect with the power of that.
We are strong beings, aren't we?
Yeah.
And then we go back and we take a nap and go to bed, right?
And
that's nice too. You wanted to talk about some other important tools.
Yeah. For those of you that might be experiencing something new, if you had a sense of, shakiness or quivering or, I just wanted to redirect you to noticing contact with gravity. As this is happening, are you perched in your chair as if it has to come up to find you? Or can you let go of any unnecessary tensions and let the chair fully support you? That's really helpful for your nervous system. Orienting is really important to your nervous system. This is how we're kind of interrupting that feedback loop and feeding it different things. So orienting means taking time to slowly look around your space and notice things you appreciate. That helps your brain recognize you aren't in danger right now, and it will ease up on a sympathetic activation cycle. Self-contact, really helpful. Finding comfortable body postures. How is your body holding itself right now that feels comfortable? Do you like to cross your legs, your ankles? Notice that. Do you like to have your hands together? Notice that. Your body's actually trying to help you calm right now.
This is all such good news. It's really simple.
Yeah, this is all in that effort to help coach our bodies and our nervous systems from fixity back to flow.
We keep swinging back to this, how many brains will translate something novel or new as bad, but you're saying something different.
We're really wanting to reassure, in a way, and assist your brain and nervous system by noticing that you are safe and okay. Reinforce that something new is not necessarily bad. Our bodies and our nervous systems get comfortable in our patterns, and so anything new can feel uncomfortable, and the brain can translate that as a threat because it's novel. We're just learning how to be good caretakers of our own nervous systems, let them know that we're okay and safe in this moment, and you can do that through these simple tools of self-contact and grounding and orienting.
Nice.
To give reassurance and let your nervous system know that you're safe right now.
And we are safe right now.
Yeah.
And if you're not, this is actually an important thing. It's like that sympathetic nervous system and that freeze, fight or flight, fawn, all of those are actually designed like if you are not in a safe environment, this whole conversation is going to stop and you're going to act. And you're going to use every sympathetic nervous system tool in the book for survival.
Yeah.
So we're talking about after the danger has passed.
Yes, very
Right?
important distinction. Yeah.
Good. And the other thing that as I was listening to you, I was reflecting back, this sounds a lot like I think it was the January podcast I did with Bobby Ibarra, where it was January 2024, and we were chatting about how important it is to accept the mundane and the discomfort that comes along with learning and growing and living this life. There's discomfort sometimes, Marianne. to tell it to you.
Yeah.
So, to be okay with that is what you're saying as well.
Yeah, what I'm saying is even though something is difficult, how can I not harm my body?
Nice.
By holding on to tensions in the body? how can I release those?
Mm-hmm. Or maybe you need that tension to run away from the saber-toothed tiger, and then when you're done, like the bird that just flew into the window, you shake it off, and then you fly away, and you tend to, if you're injured, you take care of that.
Yeah.
Love it. Hey, Marianne, can you suggest good times and places to use this VU?
If that felt helpful and restorative, you can use it often. If it didn't, that's an area of curiosity, perhaps find a somatic experiencing practitioner and explore more deeply. But if it felt helpful, I think you can do it driving. I think especially if you have had a stressful day, like at work, and it's a great thing to do before you walk in the door at home, so you're not carrying that stress and tension into your home life. It's a great kind of a segue or a pause to really attend to your body and nervous system after stressful events. Some people like to do it in the morning when they wake up. Some people like to do it before bed.
I like to do it anytime I notice tension in the body, and also with transitions when I'm like, all right, I've just had my own night and morning, and now it's time to shift into clinic mode, my work day, and to just drop off, any tensions, or maybe just to wake up and to set my state into what is my outcome for the day, and what is the best Susanna to show up right now? What do I need to do with my state? And if I can use breathing, and you talked quite a bit about exhaling your breath all the way out, making the exhale longer than the inhale, and doing that as a way to generate presence and flow so that I show up with my best self, whether it's for me or for somebody else.
Yeah.
I'll actually use it as a way to prepare for something as well as dispersing tension if that did show up.
That sounds incredible.
Yay. And so we invite all of you to work this into your life. It's not meant to be something, work it in with your yoga, your breathing, your walking, your driving, your unloading the dishwasher, whatever, right? You can do it here and there and everywhere.
Yeah.
We talked about a lot today, and so we may well have Marianne come back and dive in a little bit more and expand on some other things that she's so good at. She talked about grounding and self-contact and visual orientation, using your pictures, sounds, and feelings to build capacity as you move into the state that you need to be in, whether it's joy or ease or focus or energy. Marianne, as we wrap up, do you have anything else to add? Is there one thing you'd like listeners to remember from this?
Susanna, thank you. As Dr. Levine says, trauma does not have to be a life sentence. We can coach the nervous system to release traumatic stress responses and return to a sense of wholeness and goodness. He's written so many helpful books. I encourage you to learn more.
Dr. Peter Levine. As always, we have resources on the show notes for further practice or to connect with us. You can reach out to us by phone, by email, or on Facebook and Instagram. For us at Great Turning Healing Center and the nutritional herbal arm of Great Turning, which is Guide to Wellness, you can check the show notes for that. You can always just pick up the phone and call us, 406-599-0088, and info@guidetowellness.com. Marianne, what's the best way for people to reach you?
People can email me at livefreecounselingpllc@gmail.com. You can text or leave a voicemail at 406-414-7669. And if your pen isn't fast enough right now, you can reach out to Great Turning. They have my contact information.
We do indeed.
Yeah. And Bozeman has many SEPs that
SEPs.
Yeah, somatic experiencing practitioners.
Of course.
So you can go to traumahealing.org and search for Bozeman practitioners.
And if somebody's outside the local area?
They're all over the country and the world.
Yeah.
So that website has it all.
Oh, perfect. Good.
If you like what you hear today, if you like what you learn and experience and are curious and interested to do more, let me know. If I hear from enough people, I will put together an experiential educational skill building class, either in person or at my office in Bozeman or online.
Well, this was so helpful. And this is a topic that I love to share with people because it helps us all be more well. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. And that's the vision of what we do here, is to promote peace and well-being.
Yeah.
Glad to have you on the journey, Marianne. It's been so fun.
Thank you so much, Susanna.
That's all for now, folks. Enjoy your day. Keep on vooing. We will see you next time. Thank you.